Have you ever looked at a massive global project and just wondered, how does something like that even happen? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it down. We're distilling the wisdom of veteran engineer Hussein Al-Qadi into a clear, powerful roadmap for anyone who wants to become an international project manager. All right, let's kick things off with a pretty big idea, and maybe even a surprising one. Management isn't just a skill you learn in a classroom. It's actually something you already have. So this quote right here, this is the foundation for everything we're about to talk about. Hussein Al-Qadi's core idea is that management isn't some abstract concept you have to chase down. Nope, it's an instinct, something that's already wired into every single one of us. And you see this everywhere, right? I mean, think about it. A little kid figuring out how to get off of bed without taking a tumble, that's risk assessment and planning. Or migrating birds. They don't just fly randomly. They get into formation to be more efficient. And for centuries, mothers have been incredible project managers, juggling incredibly complex household budgets and logistics. The big takeaway here is this: you are already a manager. The talent is in there. Okay, so if we all have this built-in talent, what's next? What's the thing that bridges the gap between that everyday instinct and real professional excellence? Well, this chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got that innate talent. It's great, but it's based on instinct, it's reactive, and honestly, you can only get so far with it. But on the other side, a scientific methodology. Now we're talking about a proven process, a way to keep getting better, and a way to be proactive instead of just reacting to problems. This is how you evolve. So here's the bottom line. Your natural talent, that's your foundation. It's an amazing starting point. But if you want to build a real career, one that lasts and adapts, you've absolutely got to build on that foundation with the science and the structure of modern project management. All right, so we've covered the why. Now let's dig into the what. What are the absolute core pillars for making any project successful? For this, we're going to lean on the principles from one of the biggest names in the field, Harold Kersner. First up, pillar number 1, methodology. And listen, this isn't about being stuck in some rigid, boring set of rules. Not at all. It's about having a consistent system, a playbook, you could say. Think about frameworks like PMP or Prince2. This is the how behind your success, the thing that lets you win again and again, not just by luck. Next, pillar 2, and this one is huge. It's all about the people. You can have the most perfect plan ever created, but who actually gets the work done? People. This is where leadership comes in. It's not putting the right person in the right job because they've earned it, not because you owe them a favor. It's about creating a space where people can actually talk to each other openly. And it's about investing in your team, training them so they can grow right along with the project. And that brings us to our third pillar, process. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's the stuff you do day in and day out. The best managers, they jump on problems early when they're small and cheap to fix. They're smart about their resources. And you know what else? They celebrate the small wins, those milestones to keep everyone's energy and motivation high. Okay, so we have our 3 pillars: methodology, people, and process. Now let's see how they fit into the journey of any project. Because believe it or not, from a tiny idea to a finished product, every single project follows this same basic life cycle. It always starts with an idea, right? That little spark. But then comes a really critical step. Feasibility. This is where you have to ask the tough questions. Can we even do this? And just as important, should we do this? If you get a green light, then you move into design. That's your blueprint. After that, it's procurement, getting your team, your tools, your contracts. Then the big one, implementation. This is where you're actually building and doing the work. Once that's done, you hit commissioning, where you test everything to make sure all the pieces work together perfectly. And finally, you get to the closeout. You deliver the project, and this is key, you figure out what you learned along the way. So, thinking about that whole journey we just walked through, I have a question for you. Of all the things that could possibly go wrong, what do you think is the single most expensive mistake you could make on any project? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, but wow, is it important. The biggest, costliest error is to ignore those early warnings and push forward with a project that was already doomed from the start. And this is such a huge mental shift. You have to stop thinking about the money you spend on a feasibility study as a loss. If that study tells you to stop a bad project, that money isn't lost. It's the absolute best investment you will ever make. It's the money that just saved you from wasting millions down the road on something that was never going to work. Now that is proactive risk management. Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground. The question now is, Where do you start? How do you actually put all of this into action? Well, it really boils down to three key things you can start doing right now. First, take that amazing talent you already have and combine it with science. Add some formal methodology to your natural instincts. Second, really get to know that project lifecycle. Master it. Understand those phases so they become second nature. And third, and this might be the most important, commit to always learning. This field changes constantly, and the best project managers are the ones who never stop growing. So that brings us to our final question. Now that you have this roadmap, and now that you recognize the talent you've had all along, what's that next project that you are going to lead to success?